Today we're going to be walking through a specific way of how to use Figma variables, and in particular the way we're going to be doing them is using Figma variables to allow you to do some advanced typing. When I say advanced typing, I mean basically use Figma variables to create something that you normally couldn't do in Figma. One of the most famous issues that you couldn't normally do in Figma was practice simulating someone typing. After all, the way that Figma is designed is you're mostly able to go from screen to screen, do basic light transitions that way, with no extra details, no extra ways to make a more realistic prototype. And normally in the past, we've just kind of gone along with this whole concept that it's okay if you don't have a fully functioning prototype when it comes to Figma. All the details, all the work, everything that's important in Figma doesn't really matter because the whole purpose is to make a almost stage-like version of the design. Now, when it comes to creating this almost stage-like version of the design, there's this assumption that there's not too much you can do in order to make things become very, very realistic. So how can we make a Figma prototype a lot more realistic? That is what we are going to talk about here, first and foremost. Now, in particular, the way we're going to do that is, I suppose you can, I'm going to share my screen, and it's going to show you us inside Figma. Then I'm going to show you the details of how we can go about doing this. So the way we're going to start prototyping is as you can see over here, just using this as a nice, light, simple version of it. First, you're going to come over here into the variables panel when you open up a Figma file. And you're going to create a variable, and that variable is going to be a string, which just means text, words, anything similar to that. Now, what's this string going to show? The string is just going to be what we're going to call a label. Or maybe let's call it a search query. Now, for the search query, we're going to just put a space there to make it empty, the value be simple and empty. Now, we're going to need, since we're doing prototyping, we're going to need a screen of some type, right? Let's just make this screen a random iPhone. And next, we are going to create a little text box. So let's say email. And then from email, we will say literally nothing, actually. We'll duplicate these two. And now we're going to come over here where we see the second email that we have here and do Shift A. This is going to do auto layout, which will just give us basic automatic padding, which is going to be important very soon. Next, we're going to add a max width. And for the max width, we're going to make it, let's say, a sizable amount. There's no reason to be particular here. After all, this is just all conceptual anyway. And what we're going to do is make this have a little bit of a stroke just so you can see what area you're typing into. Now, in addition to that, we're also going to round these corners a bit. But besides that, nothing else major. Also, side align this text. Now, here's what's going to be interesting though. We are going to go in to the text and set a little bit of a variable. So the variable we're going to set is going to be the search term in particular. Now, as you can remember, we made our variable for search basically nothing. So that's why our text changed to become basically nothing. Although if we go into variables and we change this value to something like 5, then the value is going to change directly here inside the prototype the same way. So basically, whatever numerical value we have here or text value we have here, like words, they will always show up and always be present. Ooh, whoopsie, accidental click. Now, the next question is going to be, how do you make it so that you're able to start typing words like this directly into it? Now, the first thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to go here and set our variable itself to be basically equal to 0. Let's say equal to nothing. Yeah, an empty space, just like from before. what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to make it so that when you click the prototype button directly, first we're going to start our flow here naturally. The next thing that is going to happen as soon as we click this prototyping button is we're going to make it so that as soon as you hit an interaction, something takes place. We change the value of that variable that we were just talking about a minute ago. So we could do an on tap. We could do a mouse enters. Just for the sake of simplicity for a minute, we're going to use on tap as our trigger. The action that will happen is we would like to set the variable directly to be something else. Oh, let's see. Let's click. Oh, what? Hmm? Hmm. Oh, the next session's in 5 minutes? Was there? Oh, come. Oh, hmm? Was there an error with the timing? I'll come back. I'll come back. Um. Anyways. Anyways, we're gonna want to be able to make it so that we can use one of these navigations when they change when we use a click. For the sake of simplicity, for just a minute, we'll be using navigate. Now, when it comes to this, let's work with navigate. Our goal is to basically have the value of this variable change from here to here based on us having an interaction. The value that we're going to have navigate to once we click a tap is basically going to be to navigate to frame 2, the new page that we just created. Now, what's going to be different here? Oh, also, there was an error that took place. Oh, I'll give them. I'm going to have to come back to this one. Let's see what just happened. But I won't stop then the next presenter from coming up. I'm going to follow up with you. Oh, speed through if I can. Okay, conceptually, I know. I'll just take the main steps and I'll share them right here. 1 second. Okay. No. All right. So if we had more time, the steps that we would take is first we would prepare our typing field, which is what we did over here on the side. Second, we'll set an interaction with the key variable, what we just did with the variable here. The difference is what we just did was we started with the tapping variable, with the tapping interaction. But in reality, what we would like to do, preferably, is use the keyboard slash gamepad pressing variable instead. When we use the keyboard slash gamepad pressing variable, we would then set the variable to become a new input. This would be, I guess, the most that I could say is at like a 1 minute time period. I am I would definitely be coming back to see what ended up going wrong because I would normally love to walk you through all three of these main steps. Um, but for now, I suppose I'll let the next presenter get a chance to prepare. But for now, pardon the inconvenience. And I will talk to you all again very shortly. See you soon.